Alright, I'm gonna make a diary, video diary thing, this time for YouTube, just so other people, as myself, that were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, or MS, simply much easier to say MS, can watch it and kind of see what I've gone through, and what my hopes and all those things are. Now, for starters, I was diagnosed back in November of 2005. Right now, it is January 25th, 2013. So, what is that? That's, a little over 7 years, almost 13, what am I talking? Over 7 years, almost, it's getting, it's over 7 years. The whole thing for me started much further back than I ever was diagnosed. I know in high school, when we used to jog, which we did, in gym we would jog, I would notice that I would get blind spots in the center of my eyes, and I ignored it. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't like horrible, so I said whatever. I kept on going on with what I had to do. Finish off the run, finish off the class, start something else. So yeah, I'm gonna say way back in high school I had signs. Now that I know what I know, which I'm gonna teach you guys what I know, I probably had it way back. Well, I had to have had it way back then. I at least had a little bit of optic nerve damage back then. Now, we end up getting to 2003. 2003, I had neck down, entire body, not in the head, not in the face, but entire body, neck down, was tingling. And this was quite odd. I mean, everything just tingled. It feels like if you're laying down on your leg funny and your leg falls asleep and you get that goofy tingle. That's how my entire body felt. My entire body had this tingle. I did go to my doctor, my primary doctor. He's awesome. He looked it over and we talked, and I used to be a mechanic, full-time mechanic. I did go to school for it and everything. But being that was my job, he simply wrote it off as a possible reaction to a funny chemical that I may have came into contact with. So I said, okay, fine. So, he likes giving a lot of natural supplements, So I did that, took my vitamins, all those great things, and it ended up going away, and I was perfectly fine. Then, and for starters, that was around, I think it was coming out of the winter months. It was into summertime-ish, but it was coming out the winter, and I'll talk about why I mentioned that. 1 year later, almost exactly 1 year later, this again coming out of the winter months, same exact symptom. Entire body, neck down, tingles. My doctor looked it over. He said it looks like you're pinching a nerve. So he taught me some stretches to do, which I did. It went away again. Everything was fine and dandy. Now, a year later, everything's like a year later. Now we get to 2005. This is toward the winter, coming out of summer, moving into winter, at least for Chicago. That's where I am. I got a blind spot in the left eye that got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it wouldn't go away, and it was freaking me out because I am absolutely horrified of becoming blind. So I went to a regular eye doctor over at a Provision. Really good guy. He's no longer there. I'm not sure where he went, but he's really, really good. And that was my cat. He looked me over. He had me go to a different location and take a field of vision test, which I'm sure a lot of you guys that end up doing that, you know, you get optic neuritis, you get a field of vision test. And yeah, I showed that I could not see a lot. So yeah, I knew that. But yeah, what the doctor called it was retrobulbar optic neuritis because he could not see it. So he said I really should see a neurologist. And that more times than not, optic neuritis is the first indication of multiple sclerosis, which he kind of slipped out of his mouth. I don't think he wanted to mention that. And I knew nothing of the disease. I barely heard what he said. I don't know if I blanked it out of my mind or what. But I went to my primary doctor. He looked me over again. He said, yeah, I agree, you should see a neurologist. So he wrote me a, you know, the script, the prescription, whatever the hell you call it, to go see a neurologist. So I went to see a neurologist. This was kind of lakefront Chicago. It was St. Joseph Hospital. I was actually born there, but I went there to see the neurologist. He looked me over, got test after test, amazing amount of tests, invoked vision, invoked response. I mean, they hooked me up with all sorts of things. I had electrical wires that were stuck to my head, and then they would shock my hand and shock my foot, and they wanted to measure the speed that my nerves were working at. They took so much blood, it was amazing. And eventually, now we get to November, and well, let me not skip October. We get to October, actually the end of September. A really good friend of mine was killed in a car accident. So that was just like immediate. He was gone. And I think about him all the time still. So, yeah, I mean, maybe the stress from that may have kind of helped the disease a little. Maybe the dirt from my job helped the disease. I really don't know. But, yeah, in November, my doctor finally gave me the diagnosis. Now, I knew nothing of the disease. Nothing at all. So, I'm over here. He gave me the diagnosis. He left the room. The nurse stayed, and she asked me if I have any questions. It's like, I have a world of questions. I really do. But I said, no questions. I could not speak. I just kind of froze. Did not say anything. I thought I was going to die in a few months. It's basically how it was. And these videos can only be 10 minutes long. That's all YouTube allows you to do. So, you're going to have to stop it. Either way, that's how I was diagnosed, November of 2005. Come back, I will talk some more, tell you my whole adventure with this disease, where it ended up. It gets kind of interesting, to be honest. I got 7 years behind, under my belt on this thing, and I could tell you where I've been, how bad I got, how much better I am. It's amazing. It really is. So, just look out for part 2, okay? Thank you. And I'm watching it tick down. Goodbye.